Hello. We're going to make some medicine. We're going to make some herbal medicine. All natural for your liver. You can do it yourself. You don't have to depend on Big Brother. You can take this every day. So your liver is a very, very important organ. It's not like your gallbladder, your appendix, where you can do without. We need it. It does so many jobs for our body. It not only releases the bile into the gallbladder, it also touches every little thing that you put into your body. So when your liver gets, abused, and we all abuse it, just the food we eat, the preservatives they put into our food can damage our liver. Medications. You see the commercials on TV about the side effects of medications that we're on. What do you think all those particles and everything that's going through the liver, what they do? It builds up sludge. It can become a sluggish liver. You can get a fatty liver. Weight. You can get an alcohol-induced fatty liver if you're a drinker. And if your liver is not cleansing the blood and the body in general, you're going to start seeing things that you never thought you would see before. For example, acne can be a result of an overactive liver, meaning it's working so much and there's so much sludge there. So these herbs are going to help cleanse the liver. The food that we eat, a lot of it's processed, guys. They put so much in there. Diet sugars, we just need to help our bodies. We need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a tincture, and this is the folk method. And I've given the recipe out, well, not the recipe, but the ingredients. I gave a list of things that we need, and some things that I may have not mentioned. We need a jar, and I had asked for a quart jar. You're going to need a measuring spoon. I have a 1/3 cup, however you want. Something to stir this around. We need to debubble it. So you could have a wooden spatula. You could have a spoon if you need one. I use a skewer. You're going to need to use the liquid that you're going to put in here. I'm not going to show it on camera because the last one live that I did that I was using alcohol and it was on the screen, it got reported and my live ended. So I'm not going to be showing the alcohol, but I am going to be using 100 proof alcohol. That's 50% ethanol, the alcohol, and 50% is water, because when they make it, they have to use water, like in those distilleries. We're going to be using dried herbs, okay? Dried herbs do not have any water in them because they're 100% dry. So therefore, we do not need to do any percentage calculations to take into consideration fresh plant water content. I feel it's best when you're first starting out to do your own medicine to do dried herbs, because there is an additional calculation you must do to consider the fresh herb water content. So we're going to be using dried ingredients today. Okay, so we're going to open this up because we're going to put all of our herbs in there. So let's start with some stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is a very good herb. It's a cleansing herb. It's diuretic. It helps the liver. It helps the gallbladder. It helps your kidneys. It's just an overall very good herb. And we're going to start out with 2/3 of a cup of the stinging nettle. which amounts to 2 ounces. So as I mentioned, I have 1/3 of a cup, and we're going to go ahead and wrong leg. All right, the next one that we are going to use, and you know what, guys? Let me turn you around so you can see. Turn this on here. Maybe give you a little bit of light here to what I am doing. Okay, so is that turned around? It doesn't look like it. Is that better? Hi, Alley Cat. So Oregon grape, it's anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial. You know what, I'm gonna move you guys down a little bit so you can see better. Okay. Oregon grape, it's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It helps with colds, flu, viral infections. It can alleviate diarrhea, digestive cramps, IBS. It can also help with intestinal parasites. It can get rid of yeast infections like Candida. It helps with acne because it is a inflammation fighter in the gallbladder and the liver. It helps with liver congestion. So as I was mentioning, it therefore cleaning up your liver and can help with acne. It can help with skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and other skin inflammations. So the liver is really the key to the skin. It also has berberine. Even though sometimes berberine is thought to be an actual plant, it's not. It's actually an alkaloid that's found in the roots and rhizomes and barks of many plants. Excuse me. Berberine, which is in Oregon grape, helps with gut healing, like a leaky gut. It purifies your blood, your spleen, and your lymphatic system. So if you think about this, not only are we going to be helping the liver, we're helping the gallbladder, and we're doing the spleen too. Also, I wanted to mention something too regarding the berberine that's in Oregon grape. Berberine works in your body on a cellular level like metformin. So it mimics metformin, which is a Western medical pharmaceutical drug for diabetics. So it can help a diabetic too if you take this, possibly. It would depend on other issues. But as a general, I'm not a doctor, but generally berberine does on a cellular level mimic metformin. So once the berberine is actually absorbed, it can assist with your blood sugar, as I mentioned. And you can actually, the best way to take it is to add black pepper, freshly crushed black pepper. Because what black pepper does, it actually helps your cells absorb berberine, just like turmeric. Same scenario. It helps that. So it's also packed with a lot of nutrients like vitamin C and vitamin K. So because it does have vitamin K, if anybody's on a blood thinner like warfarin or Coumadin, anything like that, heparin, you would want to make sure you discuss this with your doctor, because vitamin K is what clots the blood. So if you're on a blood thinner, that's what you don't want. Okay, you don't want the clotting. So you would need to make sure you spoke to your doctor. And also, if you're a nursing mother, and that's with this tincture in general, please make sure with your health that this is something that you can actually take. Do your research on it. Add 2/3 of this also. And again, I have a 1/3 cup. So I'm going to use this twice. Now, I would like to say, let's say somebody was like, man, I really like that berberine and what it did. You could put a little bit more in here. This is a recipe that I find works for me. A health journey is just that. It's an individual health journey. And everyone has their own needs, kind of like fingerprints, guys. We're individuals. What works for me may not work for you. You may need to tweak this to what works for you. So like if I was a diabetic and I knew I could take Oregon grape, I'd probably up that amount in there. Next thing we're going to put in is dandelion. Dandelion leaf. Dandelion's good for so many things, guys. Great diuretic. It is great for the liver. It is great for your kidneys. It's great for your digestive system, gut health. It's a prebiotic, so it feeds the healthy probiotic bacteria in your stomach. Animals can take this. Animals, when they have an upset belly, this is usually what they're looking for when you see them out in the grass rummaging around when they got an upset stomach, because there's not usually mint growing wild in people's yards. So they're usually looking for this or plantain. So we're going to use 2/3 a cup of this also. Also, I would like to say regarding dandelion and its contents, and this is what I grew and dried. I didn't grow it, but it was out of my garden. So my 2/3 is kind of be like, you know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm throwing down? Boy, and I stuffed this in here. You can see I use this a lot. So even though I've already put 2 in there, it's not chopped. So I'm going to actually put 3 in here. Yeah, I'm sorry about the berberine capsules. I'm not really that knowledgeable about them. I feel bad that I can't give you any advice on that. I apologize. The next thing that we're going to be using is burdock. Now, burdock, I went to the Japanese store and I got some burdock root fresh, and I used some of it in my apple cider vinegar, my fire cider, and then I dried it. Once I dried it in the dehydrator, I ground it down. I'm going to use that because I really don't see myself using it anything else. I should have maybe put it in some beef broth, bone broth, or some chicken bone broth, but I didn't. So we're going to use it in here. So burdock is actually, and I'm also going to use burdock root. I'm using 2 different forms. I'm going to use the rest of this and then make up my 2/3 with that. 2/3 of a cup. Airline Barbie, I go ahead when I pick and harvest my herbs, I put them in a net bag. It's a net, has a pull tie, and I hang them up. I don't dehydrate them or put them in the oven. You're going to lose your medicinal properties. Yeah, so everything's going to be 2/3 of a cup. You have milk thistle, Oregon grape, stinging nettle, dandelion, and burdock root. Okay. All right, so let's see how much of this. So burdock is actually a powerhouse. It has 102 minerals in it. Exactly how many minerals and each of the minerals that our body needs. It removes toxins from the blood. And it turns out it may not only purify your blood, but it also may inhibit certain types of cancers. It has potential inhibitory effects on cancer growth caused by cancer like pancreatic carcinoma. So it's good in fighting pancreatic cancer. There was another study that because it's a diuretic, that it can help with interfering with the cancer cell growth. And if you're on any diuretics, water pills, or anything like that, always be cautious because this is a diuretic. Yeah, I didn't think. I only had 1/3 of a cup here. So. And it still smells really fresh because this was the fresh root that I bought. It smells like a, I don't know how to describe it. It smells like fresh leaves, or not leaves, like fresh, I got my nose right in that. I'm trying to sniff it up. I wish I could tell you. It just smells very, not florally, not woodsy, like spring. I guess that's the thing, you know. Yes, there are a lot in here, but each of them do a lot of things. Some of them not only, I'm looking for a label on this, some of them are specifically for liver. Some of them actually help the gallbladder and kidneys. As we had just talked about with burdock, it also helps the pancreas. Okay, let's see what we got here. When it comes to using non-alcoholic option, what part's liquid and what's the difference in use and strength? So you'd always want to use the same part of your liquid to maybe a little bit more herb, like a cup more. So it's usually a 1-to-5 ratio. That's for a 1 herb thing. This is 5 different herbs, so it's going to be more than your 1-to-5 ratio. It's going to be a stronger medicine. But when I don't usually make an ACV. I'll use a glycerin. And I use the same ratio in the glycerin. I would do the same thing with the glycerin in this. ACV, if you're using an oxymel, going to make an oxymel, I would probably use the same amount and just fill it to the top with ACV, because that would be the folk method for me. Well, that's okay. How do you know who sells real herbs and are harvested right? What I do as far as how do you find out who to buy your herbs from? So I use Etsy. I've had hit and miss on some suppliers that I wasn't happy with, but I do have links to 2 suppliers that I like. They're good in getting the herbs to you. Also, there's reviews. Gallbladder. So you could use Oregon grape for gallbladder. That's a good one. This is my burdock root. I'm just going to do 1/3 a cup to make up for what I didn't have in powdered. Yeah, this smells a lot different than that other one. Probably wasn't as fresh as that one, because I just got that the other day. Can you post the herb links on the herb links? For the suppliers, they're in my bio. Yep, they're already in my bio. Okay, so far we have burdock, dandelion, stinging nettle, and Oregon grape. And a lot of people, I will say this when it comes to burdock. There's a lot of individuals that say you can't take burdock every day. I take burdock every day. If you would feel comfortable, you can take it for a month, go off of it for 2 weeks, start it up again. But it's just, you know how some people say you shouldn't wash your hair. You should wash your hair every day. You know what I mean? Okay, so the last, like I said, the last star of the party is milk thistle. Now I grew this. I'm using the leaves. We'll actually pull out the flowers in here, and unfortunately I wonder if I have some powder, because I don't think I have enough leaves. Can you? Well, we'll be all right. I can add it after the video. So this has a reputation of supporting the liver. It protects the cells in the liver from damage. It supports not only the liver, but the gallbladder. So the gallbladder person here. It can assist in hepatitis and cirrhosis. It actually can increase the flow of bile from the liver to the gallbladder. And it has value in treatment of chronic uterine problems. My hands are over that. Let's see, what else is there about milk thistle? If you are a nursing mom, it can help increase the production of breast milk. It can restore the liver function impaired by diseases such as hepatitis, exposure to toxins like medicine, things like that, food, including alcohol for like an alcoholic fatty liver, mushroom toxins, if you would happen to have a bad mushroom, it would help remove that. And it is considered safe with no drug interactions. Use equal parts Angie. So I've used 2/3 a cup of each of these herbs to make this tincture. As I mentioned earlier, if you wanted more of another herb because it worked better for you, like milk thistle or the Oregon grape because maybe you're a diabetic, you can add more to it. This is not, it has to be, you know, like this. Everyone's different, so do what is, you know, best for you after you do your research. You always want to do your research, guys, always, okay? Because some of these have vitamin K in them. They're blood clotters. Vitamin K, I shouldn't say the herbs are blood clotters. Vitamin K clots blood. So if you're on a blood thinner, you would want to be mindful of that. Some of them are blood thinner. And if you're on a blood thinner, your blood's going to be really thin, you know. So be mindful of that. Okay, so we're going to do the milk thistle. Like I said, I grew this. And I'm not sticking my hand in here until I can grab this the right way. So guys, let's talk about milk thistle. Growing it. Some of the seeds have come off. These little suckers hurt. These are little thorns right here. They're very thorny. The leaves themselves have little pricklies on them. Make sure you have gloves on or have some scissors too. You just don't want to break off them leaves because it'll get you. The seeds are also part of the medicine, along with the leaves, along with the roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some of these leaves. Seeds, I should say. They're not leaves. And that's how they propagate, just like a dandelion. So you'll see in here all the fuzzies. Now, of course, we're going to strain this but I'm not gonna worry if we've got any getting those purple things out there. I'm gonna set this to the side, and I want to get some of these leaves. Ooh. Looking, you guys. Here's another one. See the little purple on there? I'm going to pull those out because I want those. Like I said, those are the seeds. And then I'm going to take the leaf. And even dry, them leaves still have them little jiggers on them. Alright, so there's a third. And I don't have quite 2/3, but like I said, it's still going to do the good stuff. We're going to put those back in here for now. Ouch. Those little things are deadly. Alright, as I'd mentioned, the menstruum. The menstruum is the liquid that you're going to use. I'm going to be using alcohol. I'm using 100 proof alcohol. And I suggest everybody use 100 proof. I know a lot of people say 80, but some things in these herbs are better pulled out with water. Some things are better pulled out with alcohol. So 100 proof vodka is 50%. That's okay. It's 50% vodka, 50% water. So if you had a resin, constituents are pulled out by water, some are pulled out by alcohol. So for example, Brandy mentioned she has 151. So if you had a resin like myrrh or frankincense, those are resins. They're very, very tough. Or like if you were going to be doing a tree bark of some sort. You need alcohol to really pull that stuff out. So the higher alcohol is much, much better because those resins, they don't need the water to pull out anything, because everything that's being pulled out of a resin needs alcohol to pull it out. We're going to go ahead and use 100 proof vodka. We're just going to fill this to the top, guys, and you want it to go all the way to the top. So we're going to do this over here, and I'm popping that top off because we'd really have Sunshine upset if we were pouring it in there too slow on Sunshine. I know, I get sidetracked sometimes. I'm sorry. I watch a creator every week. They go live, and he gets really sidetracked. I did pop a top. All right, I haven't gone all the way to the top yet, but I'm going to make sure that that liquid is touching everything, because I do. My link is actually in my bio. And what I've been trying to do lately is my lives that are here, I download them and I post them over on YouTube. So if somebody misses the live here, they can go to YouTube and see the live. It's kind of, I think it might be kind of boring for you guys, because like right now I'm talking to you guys. Well, on YouTube, you guys don't know what the person asked me. So it's kind of like I'm talking to myself. But it's over there. Okay, what can you do with it what can you do with it when it's ready? Well, it's medicine, so it's a liver medicine. It's going, you take it every day. I'm filling this all the way to the top, by the way. It's just about to the rim. You see that? Let me put my lid back up. Hydrate. That's right. Hey, you guys, all right, off the subject, Sunshine, okay, I've got to ask, oh, could you use dandelion root instead of leaf? Oh yeah, of course you can. The whole plant's medicine with dandelion. There was a guy who used to do cooking like on PBS or something, you know. Um, Justin, Justin Rousseau, Justin, he's a Cajun guy. And he used wine and everything. He'd be a little bit for the sauce and a little bit for me. I loved watching him. He was Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson was what he called himself. All right, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. How much glycerin and water ratio? It's what I use is a 70% glycerin, 30% water, distilled. Okay, Justin Wilson. Yes, I used to watch him all the time. I'm gonna have to find some of his old videos and watch. So you can use a coffee filter. You can use a paper towel. Coffee filter seems to be able to withstand liquid a little bit more. You can use wax paper. I'm using press and seal here. So, and of course the joys of having long hair. We're just going to put this over top of it, like that. And the press and seal is kind of nice because it, you know, holds it down. We're going to put our lid on there, and I'm going to label it. Why cover or filter than the lid? Well, because I'm using alcohol and this is metal. I don't want any corrosion whatsoever. And I don't want too much air in here because air can cause problems. So that's why I fill it all the way to the top. I put a barrier in between the metal lid, tin lid, whatever it's made out of, and the alcohol. Yep, 6 to 8 weeks, shake it all the time, plan another life. If you guys think about it, make some comments on what you would like to see. I know we've got some kid things. One lady asked me about some herbs that are good for pregnant women. I'm going to continue to do my dog herbs. So let me know. Stay healthy, friends. And thanks for joining. And thanks for all the likes and the gifts. Made me feel loved. I appreciate it.